be the first coach of the Cleveland Browns, and he invited me to be. Well, I think Otto Graham and I were the first two guys he signed.
Okay. And so Paul Brown signs with the Cleveland Browns as the head coach. He knows of you. He knows of your capabilities. And you were a kicker at Ohio State, right?
Well, I only played in 3 freshman games. I didn't play varsity football. Martin Stray, I had a brother that kicked. My brother Frank kicked for Martin Stray High School, and he learned from an uncle of ours.
Oh,
and with that, I used to go down to the practice field before the season started and retrieve his kicks, and he showed me how to kick a spot on the ball. I said, so I started kicking the ball back to him.
When did the nickname Lou the Toe?
Well, that came into Cleveland. They were trying to get something to rhyme with Groza. They used to say Lou the Toes Groza. And they contracted it down to Lou the Toe. So it's stuck, and it's one that people recognize, and I had to behave myself.
And you played tackle also?
Yes. See, I went in the Hall of Fame as a tackle.
Okay. What was Paul Brown like as a person, as a man?
Well, Paul Brown was a fundamentalist. He was well organized, and the big thing is you didn't want to get him on your back.
Yeah.
Because he could be very caustic. And of course, in so doing, because he didn't want to get him on your back, it made you a better football player.
Yeah.
But he was a great coach, and I think he set the stage for others to emulate him in a particular profession.
Did you?
It was 1950 when you kicked that field goal at the end of the game. Was that one of your highlights?
Well, it's not only a highlight. It was probably a thing we proved that we were able to see. We were in the old All-American Conference 4 years previous. It's our first year in the National Football League, and we showed we could play in the pros.
And you were predicted to lose that game, weren't you?
Yes, but we won, and it was really a glorious feeling.
Did Paul Brown in the early days in trying to kind of build the team around Otto Graham and guys like you, the offensive line, was that designed to really sort of protect Graham?
Well, no, the thing is, you grow into a situation, you do something, you do it well, and you capitalize on it, you expand upon it. And he, in those days, running was a predominant part of pro football, and of course, we had Otto Graham who could throw the football, and we started using it more. And eventually it became about 50% of our executed offense. So with that, because of the success we were enjoying, other teams started doing the same thing, trying to get a quarterback that would be capable of handling their offense. And of course, like anything else, diversification always creates soundness, and we had a diversified attack.
Paul Brown, the man who virtually invented the modern game. Brown was the first to fully utilize coaches in the press box, the first to call every play from the sideline. He set the trend, emphasizing speed in the long pass, and invented the most basic method of protecting the quarterback.
He brought in the modern pass blocking concepts, and that was very significant because if you look at some of those old systems, they were completing 35% of their passes. Pass blocking schemes were out of whack. They didn't have a clue. Here comes Paul Brown with the cup system. He had everybody turning out. And it was so simple that you wonder why nobody thought of it before, but they just didn't. And so he had Graham throwing out of that cup.
Who were some of your favorite teammates?
Well, I would say they probably all were. I didn't try to develop any real tight friendships, and one kind of lasting friendship was with Marion and Dante LaValle because they lived in Cleveland. And you'd see them more frequently than some of the guys that moved out of town. Lou Rimkus and I used to buddy around a lot too when he was with us. Of course, he's deceased now. He's told me you get older, most of your friends are gone.
Lost 6-2. It was in the mud, and I think it was Blanton Collier's last game. Do you remember that game?
I don't remember the games we lost very well. 1950, when we won the championship, was our first year in the National Football League. And we were losing by a score of 28-27 because when we were getting ready to kick an extra point, the field was frozen, the wind was blowing, we were down at the scoreboard end of the field, and the wind caught the ball and the holder couldn't grab it. We missed it. We never tried the extra point. And what he did is when he grabbed the ball, he threw a pass and it went through one of our guys' hands in the end zone. Now we're coming down in the closing seconds of the ball game. We're losing 28-27. And we got about less than a half minute to play, and I kicked about a 16-yard field goal in which we won the championship that year. It was the first year in the National Football League. And that was probably, it wasn't the longest kick, the most difficult, but it was one that had a lot hanging on it because it proves that we were capable of playing in the National Football League.
Did anything special happen in the huddle before the kick, or do you remember anything about that? Or
No, see, I dropped back to the tackle position, to the kicking position. And they put in a substitute tackle in my place. And I didn't have time to think about it. All I did was think of the fundamentals. I broke it down. Every kick I ever tried, stance, approach, contact, and follow through. And that's all I was thinking about as I line my toe up in the spot in the middle of the goalpost, and I square my shoulders to the uprights. And I tell the holder I'm ready. The ball is snapped. I take the first snap as it's his hand. Second step comes down behind the ball. And I watch the spot on the ball and I kick through it, come down in front, straight line into that
so
drop.
that's what you were trying to focus on.
That's all I thought about. Every kick that I attempted, I did that.
And then there's a picture of you, I remember, being in the locker room that they took after that game with I think the championship trophy, and Paul Brown is there.
Oh, there were a lot of pictures taken in.
Yeah.
When you're being selected to the Hall of Fame, I can remember the first year I didn't make it when I was eligible. And the reason for it is some guy was a young reporter from some newspaper. They never told me who he was. Said that he didn't just thinking that just a kicker should be able to get in the Hall of Fame. And of course, he didn't realize I'd play tackle.
Yeah.
And that's how I went in the Hall of Fame as a tackle rather than as a kicker. And I don't know, they do have a pure kicker now. Stennerwood is in the Hall of Fame.
Otto Graham, just as a character, or as a moral character.
Moral character?
Yeah, is he a leader?
Otto had been an officer in the military. He was in the Navy, I believe. Yeah. And I think his record speaks for itself. He was an honorable guy and a great football player.
'46 to 1955, Brown and Graham led Cleveland to 4 All-America Conference titles, and after Cleveland joined the NFL in 1950, 3 World Championships. Graham was perfect to play the leading role in Brown's system. He was the All-American boy, the face on the cereal box. After all, not everybody could play for Paul Brown.
In my opening lecture, I always said to them that if you're a bum, a boozer, a chaser, that kind of person, I'm not interested in you making our team.
This is a real highlight. I'm just so thrilled to have a chance to chat with you. So, thank you. Appreciate it.